Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGMeCast presenting the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series live from Silverstone. We're here for the next installment of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series Intercontinental GT Challenge, I should say. And we're into the Atlantic League. We'll have a two-leg race here tonight with our traditional 20-minute sprint format, followed by our 40-minute longer race, 15 top drivers reverse grid when we do get there. We're just in the tail end of practice at the moment, just under 3 minutes to go before we do get into open qualifying. Flying solo here tonight, the team just off with a couple of bugs, unfortunately, so it is just a solo session. So jump on the chat, keep me entertained. Let me know what you're watching, why you're watching, and where you're watching from, and it'll be good to jump on board and have a chat with a few of you throughout the stream tonight. So as we just get ourselves sorted out here, bring up a couple of bits and pieces for you tonight. First and foremost, let's have a little bit of a look at the race overview tonight. So we are round 7, as I said, at Silverstone. We are on the full international circuit tonight, and we're looking forward to that 20-40 minute sprint format that we get used to. We've got turn 3 and 4 are going to be the place to watch at the start of this race, obviously, as the drivers get down towards those two slow turns when the pack is full at 26 cars on track as we speak. It's going to be an interesting one for us to see how they navigate their way through there, and of course through the last slow turns, turn 16. As usual, the question is, are people going to run a one-stop or two-stop strategy in race 2? They will be required to take a stop in race 1, looking at around about lap 5 for that one, depending on the make. And at this stage, Geoff Connell still leads after his good, solid results last week. Dale Breed really still leading the amateur series as well. And that is the race overview brought to you by 93PC, sponsors of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. So we'll get that one off the screen. Let's have a quick look before practice finishes at the race ballast implemented for this round. As you can see there has been a couple of changes just to balance things up a bit. The Ferrari pretty strong last week, but did die off when towards the end of the race there. It struggled a little bit on cold tyres too, but they have given it a little bit of a further diet, so 5 kilos further ballast taken out of it and the BMW. So it running 30 kilos, Ferrari down to 5 kilos, and they've whacked a hefty 10 kilo penalty on to the Mercedes, so that we'll see how that one affects it through Silverstone here. Obviously quite an interesting layout of a track with some fast sections as well as the sweepers. So there's going to be strengths and weaknesses for the cars here. The BMW is traditionally strong in a straight line. The Ferrari a bit of an all-rounder as well, so we'll see how that affects things, and those adjustments have been made. Obviously fixed series here, so are made to ensure that the cars are going to be all around about the same lap pace with their various strengths and weaknesses. So we'll get that one off the screen here as we jump into our 10-minute qualifying. Generally jump out with the first car on track, and tonight that looks like it is Joshua Fitt. No, in fact we're still one further back than that. It might be Paul Mansell perhaps. Just trying to identify that. In fact, it's one of the DPR cars of Timothy Auty. So Timothy Auty is our first onboard lap tonight. So we'll jump on board with him as he takes us on a preview around this very, very famous racetrack. And you're looking for green sectors if you haven't been with us before. So green sectors are what you want to see. And we will just ride on board with Tim as he takes us around in just a moment. Let him get through the warm-up lap before we jump on board. And normally it's Carl who does the talk through of the lap here, so I'll do my very best tonight to bring you all of the information. His track knowledge is a lot deeper than mine, but you know, we will do what we can. Just entering the new section of the track just past the old pit lane there. And this is that undulating SS section that I spoke to you, mentioned just a little bit earlier on here. So it's a great part of the track when you're driving. The car turn in and you head down into the fast up, straight down towards the tail end of the lap. So Timothy Audi will be the first car to set a time here. We're just expecting lap times here to be around about that 2-minute mark in the GT3s. Tim Audi had a reasonably good performance last week as well. Of course, it was Geoff Connell who took out the race win last week with a strong performance with the solo stop, just making it home. We're going to come around here and commence the first flying lap. Get on the gas nice and early as we head down past pit lane. A little dab of the brakes and a quick turn in here through turn 1. There's plenty of runoff for wide there. You'll see them try and use as much of that as they can without getting a penalty. Trying to keep over to the left into the braking zone. First slow right-hander as we head down towards the hairpin. This is the turns that we're talking they're going to have to watch out for at the start of the race on cold tyres in particular. Get back on the gas as early as you can out of that hairpin for the run. Down into turn 4. Another tight left-right-hand combination to get down through here into the braking zone. About 100k. A little bit deeper than that in the Ferrari. Turning and just balancing the car there. Or getting back. And just trying to hold the car in nice and tight here on the double apex and then get on the gas as early as you can for the long run down into the new section. So on the right hand side here, going past the old pit lane, they can use as much of the road there as they like without penalty. And it is, again, another section here where they've got to be very careful to get the turn in right, get to the apex, and just hold it in there as much as they can. You can see that, again, using all the track. It's very easy for them to rack up penalties here tonight. That's one area of focus. They're down to this undulating SS section that we're on board for earlier on. Already using all of the track there, doing a good job to get the Ferrari turned in and through there. And you want to be turned in and on the gas as early as you can here to get the run and the benefit down what is the longest section of straight track at Silverstone. Got this right-hander here. They're just down, dab on the brakes, just down a gear, get the car turned in and through, use as much of the exit curb as possible there, and make the run down to the last corners here. So, got a slower left-hander, and this double apex right, you've got to get out of here nice and smooth. Get on the gas as early as you can to bring the lap home well. Already looks like he's put in a pretty smooth effort there, and 2 minutes flat, 2 minute 0.18. So fastest of all of the cars on track so far, with Ross Rizzo putting a 2 minute 59. Geoff Connell just pops in there with a 2 minute 09. So going to probably see someone break down into the sub 2 minute zone here. We're stick on board with Timothy Audi. We'll switch back through the track and have a look at who else is out there. So as I said, 10 minute open qualifying session here. We've already got about 5 minutes left of this session. So with the warm-up lap, the 2 minute laps, only a couple of opportunities for the drivers to set that fastest lap that they're looking for. Track position is going to be really important here. As I said, about 5 laps worth of fuel on these cars for this first 20-minute race. So expecting race distance obviously around about 10 laps with the fuel restrictions that they start with. And then in the second race, potentially the opportunity for these cars to do a single stop if they can conserve fuel long enough. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron just dropping in there, just saying a very precise run from Timothy Audi for his first flying lap. Absolutely, it was nice and clean. Very important for the drivers to get a banker lap in so they don't end up starting way down the field, and they've managed to do that, so he can be afforded a little bit of a push on this lap here. At this stage, you can see he's gone green in that first sector, so fastest first sector for himself. Orange in the following 2 sectors, so he may be able to improve here. There's just 9 100ths between himself and Geoff Connell for provisional pole, with 4 minutes 15 to go here. Qualifying brought to you by simrigs.com. If you're in the market for a new simrig, do jump onto simrigs.com. Massive supporters of iRacing and our community in general. You can see there on Tim Audi's car the livery simrigs.com as well. And they do everything from wheels to rigs to pedals to seats. So if you're looking to get into sim racing, good place to go and get your gear from. As Tim Audi brings it across the line there. Just waiting for that lap time to update. I don't think he managed to get that through as a clean lap, suffering a penalty, not able to improve. He's finished that lap there. Geoff Connell the same, a 2 minute flat 09, so no change at the front. Plenty of other drivers completing their fastest laps throughout the field so far. Matty Cartaleone, let's jump on board with him. He's had a pretty strong season so far, managing to grab a podium last week as well. So we're at Catalunya. Just going through his first flying lap here. He's just approaching the new section of the circuit. Goes past the old pit lane there on the right-hand side. So he's got to look here to get the car just under brakes, get it slowed a bit and turned in, get the drive out of here to keep the pace carried through down there. He's going to be just okay there. That right-hand front wheel just across the line, or far enough across the line. We don't need VAR to let us know that. He's going to make his way through the S's. And down to the first part of this back straight. He's just clipped the curb there. That's unsettled the car. Just pushed a little wide. Maybe as clean as he wanted it to be. But he'll get through, get that lap done. He'll pop himself way up the charts there into 8th position outright. So no changes at the top there. Poor Mansell, he is still out on track with a 2 minute 2.5. So just slightly slower than Timothy Audi and Geoff Connell in front of him. Just keep an eye to see if he is going to go faster. And no, just slightly slower. So looks like everyone's first lap pace has been the pace they needed to set with 1:35 to go. Not going to be too many left who are going to finish this. Matty Cartaleone's got an opportunity here on his second flying lap to try and move himself up the field a little bit if he can. Dale Breed doing a good job currently sitting in 9th position. He's about to come through and complete his second flying lap. We'll just have a look at how he gets on with that. Fantastic livery on that XCM M4 BMW. See where he finishes that one up. So 2:03.28 there from Dale. So just not quite able to improve. Don't know if there was some traffic in that or if he did run wide. Aaron DeLuca rounding out a top 10 at the moment. Maverick Benson moves himself up just in front of Ross Rizzo into provisional 5th with a 2:52. So just pulls off there. He's done for his qualifying effort. Joshua Fitt still out on track. He had a really strong run in that Ferrari. He's just been pushing on the podium throughout the last couple of rounds, just not quite able to get it completely up into the top, but he's had some really strong results as well, so I expect to see him doing things this evening. Matty Cartaleone, I'm going to switch back to him. He's just about to head down to the run towards the last couple of corners, so thanks very much, Carl, for the comments, mate. We hope you're feeling better, and we'll see you on Thursday night for the Cup. As Matty Cartaleone brings it through here. How has he done? Yeah, jumps up as well. It's just in time, too, with a 2:58, 2 minute flat 58. And he's jumped up into 6th position there. So let's have a quick look at the grid for this first race. Bring it up on screen there. We'll get rid of the ticker off the top. And this grid is brought to you by simrigs.com. And it is Geoff Connell taking pole position from Timothy Audi there. We've got Paul Mansell and Luke Turner on row 2 with Maverick Benson and Matty Cartaleone off row 3. Ross Rizzo and Joshua Fitt off row 4 with Dale Breed and Aaron DeLuca off row 5. Next up, it's Christopher Hen and Adam Funslow off row 6. As we flick the page over here to keep getting through this one, Aaron Oliver and Derek Audi off row 7. Liam Caplice and Sam Lehman off row 8. Sam with a really strong run last week, just unfortunately undone at the end there, so watch out for him. Daniel Webster and Mike Casey off row 9 with Lachlan Capel and Jeffrey Wang off row 10. Richard Brookfield and Brady Buchanan off row 11 with Hayden Jackson and Patrick Panton off row 12. As we just flick back there to the last row of the grid, which is Phil Auty and Tim Mitchell. Okay, so we just dropped that in there. Aaron, Queensland karting specialist. Not sure what you're referring to, mate, there. If you want to drop me a little bit more information, we can certainly have a look at that topic. Not sure about that if you're referring to sim rigs or the drivers. So, yeah, let us know. And we'll head off very, very shortly behind the pace car to get this one underway. Timothy Auty and Geoff Connell going to be the ones to take us through here. As the grid makes itself set off. It's going to be a reasonably short warm-up here. As I said, corners to watch out for. 3 and 4 on the first lap are going to be treacherous. Drivers on cold tyres have got to give one another room. There was a comment in the chat on the Discord for the race group to make sure that they allowed room, so they've been on notice from the event organisers to make sure that they are a little bit respectful and give themselves some room. Wow, there's a Ferrari down on the inside there that's just plummeted into the wall, and no good at all. Aaron DeLuca, pretty sure he's a go-karter in Queensland. We'll check that out as we get into the race start, and we are away. It is Geoff Connell who has got a cracking start there. They're 4 wide down to the first turn. Those numbers aren't going to work, and there was somewhere in the background there who just came adrift. But it is Geoff Connell, Paul Mansell, Timothy Auty as we head down into turn 2. Cold tyres here, 2 wide, the majority of the field. There's a little bit of bump and shove going on in the background, but it looks like a relatively clean start as everyone's made their way through those first 2 corners, or second 2 corners. In fact, Sam Lehman, Hayden Jackson, Brady Buchanan involved in an incident. We'll bring that one up if we can, if we get time. But Geoff Connell has got away here to a very clean start, and he is leading the pack as we get underway this 20-minute first race from Silverstone. You can just see there Connell running wide, that Ferrari hugging tight. Oh, there's going to be contact. There's a little bump there between Mansell and Connell, but they've managed to keep it on the track to make their way down past the old pit lane. Going to just be careful here on cold tyres to make sure that they get through cleanly, and they do very well. So good job from a majority of the drivers. There's been, as I said, a little bit of bump and shove in the back of the field, but overall drivers doing a good job. So we're just following here with race leader Geoff Connell, Paul Mansell, Timothy Auty, and Maverick Benson just in behind them there as well. Matty Carlione had a good start. He's up 1 position into 5th. Luke Turner in 6th. Rizzo 7th. Fit 8th. We've got Christopher Henn in 9th and Dale Breed down 1 spot into 10th position. As we jump off there, that doesn't help us at all. The old roll bar cam on the Merc. Need to adjust that one, so apologies there. But we're back out having a look at this field snake its way through the first lap. Matty Carlione there defending heavily just to make sure that he keeps his position through this first lap. Have a quick duck back through the rest of the pack here just to see where people are at. Great livery on Luke Turner's car there, and there is plenty of race going on just down the inside there. Not a lot of room given. This is Matty Carlione and Ross Rizzo battling away in the BMWs, and they've also got Luke Turner hot on their heels. So this battle here is for 5th, 6th and 7th, in fact 8th as well, as Josh Fitt, the man we're talking about in that Ferrari there, he's trying to make his way through. The Ferraris have started out strongly here with Mansell, Auty and Benson occupying positions 2 through 4. Sam Lehman's in pit lane along with Mike Casey, so they are going to struggle. They might try and do the long play here. Everyone's going to have to pit in this race. There's no way they can make it through on the first tank of fuel that they've got. Expect that around lap 5. We're already halfway through lap 2, so pit stops will come into this one. It's going to be interesting to see who manages fuel, or tries to manage fuel for race 2, but we'll get there when we get there. As Carlione just settles in there, there's been a change for position. Oh, as Timothy Auty is around in the background. He's done a great job there to get that Ferrari off the track. That could have been monumental for everybody behind him, and albeit not ideal Tim Audi, great driving there to just make sure that he didn't get in the way. Not a great result for him, but he's done the right thing by the rest of the field, so we applaud him for that. And he'll jump back into the race in 22nd position. So we'll keep an eye on him. He'll make his way back up through this field, no doubt at all. He's been incredibly quick in both practice and obviously in qualifying there, jumping on to a 2nd position. So at this stage, Geoff Connell, Paul Mansell out the front here. There's only half a second between them. These Ferraris are looking quick. The Mercedes did benefit as well. Sorry, did get penalised, I should say, with some additional kgs for this race. The Ferrari only hindered by 5 kilos of ballast now. So they've generally got things pretty right in terms of getting these cars to be relatively even. And it looks like they've done another good job again tonight, as it is Connell in the Mercedes from the 2 Ferraris of Paul Mansell and Maverick Benson. Ross Rizzo just in touching distance here as well with Luke Turner. You can just see them at the top of the screen there. Christopher Henn just dropping back through the field a little bit here, just wondering if he might have entered the pits. Patrick Panton has. Christopher Henn, though, in fact, has gone off track. Oh, wow, we've got an incident there as well, which has involved a number of the drivers. And just bring that one up and see if we can have a look at that one. I'll bring that up on the replay now. Oh, there's a big bump there between the 2 Ferraris. What's come of that? Because there was a further incident after this one. Oh yeah, and he's just got a tap there as well down on the inside. Oh wow, and then through comes the 26 of Jeffrey Wang as well. There's a substantial amount of damage on the front of that Ferrari, so there's been a fair bit of push and shove down the field. No doubt there'll be some incidents to inspect after that. Ferrari looking very second-hand of Christopher Henn, so we'll keep an eye on what happens on that throughout the week. As we go back live now, and you can see Connell still under pressure here, just 3/4 of a second between himself and Paul Mansell. Got a big battle going on back here in the mid-pack, so I'm just going to jump back to that. Liam Caplice just about a second up from Matty Carleone, but Carleone under pressure from Dale Breed. And this mid-pack battle is developing. There's a bit of sense here in jumping out of this pack, including this one here, where you can see there's 3 or 4 cars. Timothy Audi already making his way back up the field. Wow, he's up a whopping 10 spots already. So Audi wasting absolutely no time. As you see now, Henn and Wang jump into pit lane. They're going to do their pit stops now. And for the first time tonight, we go sub 2 minutes. Geoff Connell, 1:59.96 in the Mercedes. So he's doing a great job out in front there just to manage that gap. So they're going to need to pit. So we're pitting a little bit early, some of the drivers. Lap 3, sorry, I should say lap 4. Lap 5, by our calculations, is that critical lap. Might be able to push out to lap 6 in terms of maximising this tank of fuel. Won't be able to go too much further than that, as the Ferrari of Paul Mansell now is just having a look, letting Geoff know that he's there or thereabouts. Connell won't be too worried about that in the Batmobile. He has been up the front a fair bit this season, as he makes his way past the old pit lane. That Merc looking fantastic in the twilight. If you are enjoying our stream, we'd be very thankful indeed. If you're watching on YouTube, give us the big follow and turn the notifications on. Same on Twitch or Facebook, wherever you're watching from. And we thank you for joining the broadcast here tonight. So simrigs.com bring us this race from Silverstone. And we can't forget to mention our marquee sponsor. Well, not our marquee sponsor, but one of our partners from the very start, HJ Plant Repairs, and their contribution to this series. So thank you to them for being on board since this series started way back nearly 3 seasons ago now. See if they peel off into pit lane, and yeah, there it is. Paul Mansell off into pit lane, so he's doing his stop. Teammate Maverick Benson follows him in as well. So what we've seen in the past here is that Geoff Connell has managed on this lap, the lap where he's solo, to put in a time and open the gap on those behind him in terms of fuel. He's just done a 2:11, so slightly slower than his prior lap, but this is the one where he generally gets the uninterrupted clean air. and just manages to open that gap up a little bit. Matty Carleone hasn't jumped into pit lane, but a balance of the field has. We've got Rizzo, Turner, Fit, Caplice, Breed, Daniel Webster, Lachlan Capel, Tim Audie, Tim Mitchell, Richard Brookfield, Phil Audie, and Brady Buchanan all in pit lane at the moment. So it is a frantic scene down there in pit lane. And what Geoff Connell will be wanting to do here is just maximise his opportunity to open the gap so that when he pits, he will be able to come out with, hopefully in his eyes, definitely more than a second extended lead. So he's out of the draft and able to just run this one to the finish. Got just on 11 minutes to go now in this first sprint race. Do remember that the second race is a top 15 drivers reverse grid race as well, 40 minutes. And the drivers can make it on one stop if they manage fuel. So we'll try and pick those that do. Geoff Connell, expert at it, and also Matty Carleone, one who generally favours the single stop if he can make it work for him. Not quite able to get there last week, but it did pay off for him anyhow with a podium position. So see if Geoff's going to peel off once he makes it through this final set of corners. New section of Silverstone that he's on. So come through the right-hander here and get back on the gas again. And we'll just see if he peels off to the right. And in fact he does. So he's now into pit lane. It's got about a 35-second gap over Paul Mansell. Pit lane transit time here is around about 50-odd seconds with the refuel. That one lap extra means he won't have to take quite as much fuel. So we'll keep an eye. Matty Carleone peels off in as well. Of course, the road into pit lane here, one of the slightly longer ones. Not quite as long as some, of course. If you've ever run at Spa on the international circuit there, that pit lane runs for about 8Ks. I am joking, but it is a very, very long pit lane. Paul Mansell now is on his way into the last couple of corners. Just having a quick look when he comes around. Connell still stationary in pit lane. Be right up the front of pit lane, however, he's on his way out now. So Connell leaves pit lane, the exit quite short. Where is he? He is going to be, and he's done it again. He's opened the gap up here to just under 2 seconds. Of course, there's car behind him at full race pace, but the start of the lap here a little slower, so he's able to just defend that position. 2 seconds he's opened the gap up to here. Paul Mansell coming under pressure from his teammate Maverick Benson, and Ross Rizzo closed up the gap in his pit stop as well. So this is a battle here for second, third and fourth between Mansell, Benson and Rizzo. We've got Merck leading, Ferrari, BMW at this stage definitely contesting for the podium. 8.5 minutes to go here in race 1 at Silverstone. It's been pretty smooth sailing so far. As I said, a little bit of bumping and shoving going on in the early part of the first couple of laps. The stewards will have a look at that after the race. But otherwise, it's been really clean from Geoff Connell. Expect nothing less. Paul Mansell's having a really strong run as well. He and Benson are going to have to work together. Ross Rizzo, quite a quick driver. And he will be putting some BMW-sized marks as best he can on the back of Maverick Benson to put him under pressure. You can see he's right up behind him now. I'm just trying to work out where each car is stronger here. The Ferrari against the BMW. BMW carrying a whopping 30 kilo ballast to keep it under control. Traditionally stronger in a straight line than the Ferrari, but it's a little bit of a handful through the windy stuff. So the benefit of that weight reduction in a Ferrari and the additional ballast in the BMW means that you can see here they're relatively even right the way around the track. So obviously pressure does weird things to people. Mansell just slightly opening the gap here, but Maverick Benson and Ross Rizzo definitely in the draft, so they will get the benefit of that from Mansell. As we head down to the first of the straights at Silverstone. Couldn't be been here. It's a fantastic motorsport facility, home to a number of the Formula One teams as well. Very, very large facility, a lot bigger than I certainly thought it was when I got to stop in there on my tour around the UK. This is just stabilised here. There's just not quite an opportunity for Rizzo to have a crack at the Benson Ferrari. So we're on board now with Rizzo as he goes through the S's to be with the BMW. Should struggle a little bit in comparison to the Ferrari. You see there he's locked on to the back of Maverick Benson. Just 2/10 between them. Not close enough to get anything done. Well, that sun is absolutely blinding. Particularly some of these drivers running VR, that would be a big distraction, particularly down here into the braking point of the last two corners of the track. This double apex, important to get right so that you can get the drive out of the corner, maximise your speed down this straight. Use as much of that curb as you possibly can to get the car turned in. Down into turn 2. And this slow up into the hairpin here, just right on the back of him, not close enough to do anything else there. So we've got under 5 minutes to go here in race 1 at Silverstone. Have a quick flick back through here. Daniel Webster under pressure from Tim Auty. As you remember, Tim got a little bit of a slide there earlier on in the race, dropped right back down to 24th, my apologies. He's now up into 12th position, so he's done a good job to make a comeback. He's just 4/10 there, just behind the other Ferrari of Daniel Webster. It's probably a little bit further down the qualifying positions than he normally would be, so he's doing a good job to make himself up some places, up 6 positions now, currently sitting in 11th. Just trying to have a little bit of a look further down the field. Patrick Panton currently running in 16th. He is our biggest mover. He's up 8 positions so far from his qualifying in 24th into 16th. A result that currently he shares with Tim Mitchell, who's also up 8 positions. So he's currently running in 18th. So some good progress made by them. They want to really try and get up into those last of the top 15. So they've got a bit of work to do here. Tim Mitchell 1.8 seconds behind Hayden Jackson in 17th, and Patrick Panton is 1.4 seconds. You can just see at the bottom of the screen that was Richard Brookfield going through underneath us, and he is currently sitting in that 15th position. So at the moment he'll be on provisional pole for our second race with 3 minutes to go. So really Panton wants to try and pile the pressure on. It's a little bit slow in his last up round. I suggest something happened there. He's a 2:05 against the 2:02 of Brookfield. He needs to try and address that gap if he can. Jeffrey Wang, who unfortunately got caught up in some of that early damage. He's taken his fast repair during the pit stop, so he is back in a mint condition Ferrari. He'll also be having a look at that front row of the grid. So I'll jump back on board here now with Geoff Connell at the front of this one. He's got it pretty under control, 2.5 seconds. That gap just stretching a little bit since his pit stop. Came out of the pits with a 2-second lead there, so you can see the gap back to Paul Mansell. So Connell at this stage has this one under wraps with 1:45 to go. We will go round for one more lap. Get the white flag this time around. he's going to have to make his way through the field for this next one. We've got 26 cars starting tonight. We've got 2 drivers down 1 lap after some early incidents, but all drivers still in this one. So I'll have 26 classified in the results here. Maverick Benson now right under pressure from Ross Rizzo. And Rizzo here, you can see right up behind the Ferrari. And Reed Bosch is clear as day on the back of the Benson Ferrari. As they get round here down into turn 3. Yeah, I was going to say, Rizzo will take the line. He'll try and get the switchback happening if he can. Fending there from the Ferrari. Here we go, see if he can get that move done. Not quite close enough up to get the run out of the hairpin on the Ferrari. So he's going to have to try something else. So just get notification there. Mike Casey has crashed, so he's jumped back out in the pit lane. Put the commentator's curse on him. As you get down to this braking zone there, that sun is savage. It's doing really well. Just hear the burn off on the BMW there. He's getting quite close here on the back of Benson. He's going to have to try and set himself up for the push through here. Not sure where he's going to be able to get it done now in the BMW. He's just lost a little bit of the legs that he needed. Tell you, there is no change at the moment. Brookfield holding out 15th position from Patrick Panton. A little bit of swapping around here going with Aaron DeLuca and Matty Cardaleone. That gap there is very close indeed. There's a battle for 3 there. Just stick here with our battle for 3rd place on the podium. As Ross Rizzo looks to try and make his way around. He's going to run out of time as the clock strikes 0. Looks like he may have to settle for 4th now. He's just dropped off a fairway. Surely he hasn't run out of fuel. No, he hasn't. So our grid's going to be fairly well sorted here in terms of the outcome of this race. As Geoff Connell comes through the last corner, and he's going to head across, and that'll make it back-to-back wins for him. A really strong drive start to finish lead for him, and the good form continues for Geoff Connell in the Mercedes, racking up a race 1 win here at Silverstone. A fantastic result for him from a really strong drive. Paul Mansell coming home in 2nd with his teammate Maverick Benson behind him in 3rd. So a teammate 1-2 there in the Ejectors Online Racing entries. So a strong race from them indeed. We'll bring up the results from this race just a moment and let you know who finished where and what we're looking at for the balance here. I'm just looking back to see if there's any more close contests. There's Jeffrey Wang, and just 5 at the end of it between DeLuca and Brookfield, just 5/10 of a second between 14th and 15th. So have a look at that for the start of the next race. That's going to be a close run thing. So just wait for the clock to tick over here in the session. Field of drivers just finishing up their last laps. So there'll be a short warm-up period here for the drivers, and then we will head into that 40-minute feature race for this evening. More points in the feature race, of course, as well. So let's bring up this the results from race 1. So results from that first race, as we said, Geoff Connell, Paul Mansell and Maverick Benson, your podium. Back-to-back wins for Connell, Mansell and Benson there in the Injectors Online Racing. Get up. Ross Rizzo, unlucky. Not unlucky. Ross Rizzo pressure on Maverick Benson for a majority of that race, but just not quite able to get the job done and move his way up onto the podium. Luke Turner in 5th, with Josh Fitt in 6th, Matty Cardaleone in 7th. We've got Dale Breed in 8th, Liam Capel 9th, and Daniel Webster in 10th. Timothy Audie managed to battle his way back up to 11th, having dropped right down to 24th in the field, so a good drive from him. Lockie Capel in 12th, with Jeffrey Wang in 13th, DeLuca 14th, Brookfield in 15th. We've got Panton, Jackson, and Mitchell making up the balance of the top 18 drivers as we flick back over here. And we do have the remaining drivers who managed to get across the line there. So we've got Jackson, Mitchell, Autie, Funslow, Buchanan, Hen, Lehman, Autie, Oliver, and Casey. So we've got a short warm-up period here. So what we'll find, as I said, in the next race, we've got the reverse grid top 15. So we'll bring you that grid just to remind you of who is starting on pole for the next race. In the meantime, try and feast our eyes on anyone out on track, just getting their refresher. A lot of the drivers duck off here and just grab a quick drink of water and get themselves prepped for the 40-minute run. So the equation here in the 40-minute run is whether or not they're going to do 2 stops. They may not need to do 2 stops if they manage fuel, so we'll keep an eye on that. There's a number of drivers who will run that strategy. They'll sit in the pit window and then they will go in early, get out of all of the mess, and then run it to the end on a full tank. So while we are on board with Richard Brookfield, in fact, it's a good, I just noticed there on the back and sides of his BMW, the Cancer Council symbol. We mention it every week on this stream, prostate cancer and prostate cancer awareness, particularly for all the guys watching and driving. It's a really, really important thing. If you've got any concerns, even annually, just go and get yourself checked. It takes 5 minutes. It's not the most fantastic thing you'll ever do with your life, but it just might save your life, and it's very important to raise awareness around it, because in the blink of an eyelid, if you've ignored something, it can turn into a serious problem, and obviously you can pay the ultimate price. So continue to try and raise awareness for prostate cancer and cancer in general. If you're feeling a little bit off, go and get yourself checked out. It takes 5 or 10 minutes, and you get the job done. You know what is what, and you can get yourself looked after. If you catch it early enough, it certainly is curable, and you can recover from it. So if you leave it too late, you can't. So as I said, if you are not feeling yourself, or whatever the case might be, go and get some help, and make sure that you don't pay the price. In addition to that, we do need to thank the streaming partners that we have here. So we'll start at the top with the series partners, simrigs.com, who are a big part of the local sim racing community. HJ Plant Repairs as well, our very first sponsor in this series, and they continue to remain on board today. Bridgestone Select, Cranbourne, Fountain Gate and Rowville for their support. 93PC, Sam, actually series organiser and participant. He owns that business, so if you're in the market for a new PC, then that is where we would encourage you to go. In fact, with our sponsors 93PC and simrigs.com, you get everything that you need to get out and have a crack, and that we certainly would encourage you to do. AJ Insurance Services, our main streaming partner, for their ongoing support. Joe Daly and his team do a ripping job if you're after commercial or business insurance, or even some advice about your domestic insurance. Joe Daly and the team, the people to speak to. Don't necessarily need to be, but Joe's based in Sydney, but certainly can look after you virtually, particularly after all the improvements that have been made over the last 12 to 18 months with all of those things, Skype and Zoom and what have you, and they can definitely look after you. So if you're in the market for some new insurance, or even just a comparative quote or some general advice, give Joe and the team a call. And of course, Ferguson Group Media, the company behind Ferguson Group Media's eCast business, FGMeCast as we lovingly know it. So let's get on with it here. We'll bring you the grid for this one, and it generally throws up some interesting results, so do stick with us. We'll go right back to the start here, and we'll have a look at who it is who's going to be on pole position out of the end of last race. It is Richard Brookfield and Aaron DeLuca on the front row of the grid. We've got Jeffrey Wang, Lockie Capel off row 2 with Timothy Orty and Daniel Webster off row 3. Watch out for Tim to make his way through. Liam Caplice, Dale Breed off row 4 with Matty Carleone and Joshua Fitt off row 5. Luke Turner, Ross Rizzo off row 6. As we continue to push through this one. There we go, and it's just decided I wanted to go all the way, but that's okay. Maverick Benton, and now it's gone back again. Apologies for that. It is Maverick Benton and Paul Mansell off row 7 with Geoff Connell and Patrick Panton off row 8. Hayden Jackson, Tim Mitchell off row 9 with Derek Audie and Adam Funslow off row 10. Then got Brady Buchanan, Christopher Henn, row 11, Sam Lehman, Phil Audie, row 12, And then last but not least, Aaron Oliver and Mike Casey to round out this grid. So this is a 40-minute feature race, and we are going to have some fun here with our faster drivers wanting to make their way through the grid. You can see the sun setting here, so it will finish in a dusk situation. Lights on these cars working though, so that will make for another complex in this race. So we're going to get away here with Brookfield and DeLuca. Just jump out to the old blimp here and have a look as they go to get through. Waiting for the green light here to go. 40 minutes. Definitely going to be a pit stop. Who's going to run the two-stop strategies? We've got a really, really good start there down the inside. Looks like Matty Carlione, that might have been there. 3 wide going down past the pit complex. Down into turn 1. That number won't work. Oh, there's a touch already. Someone's just run a little bit wide there. I didn't pick who that was. I think it might have been Liam Caplice, who's just run a little bit wide there on cold tyres. Down into turn 2. Everyone trying to get stopped and turned in. 3 wide there. Very, very risky back in the pack. And in fact, we've got Geoff Connell, who's involved in a crash. Phil Orty as well. So they've slipped down the list. Watch for Geoff Connell to jump into pit lane early and run the long strategy, I think, with that one. And we've got, it is Richard Brookfield out in front, followed by Jeffrey Wang. So they've got a good gap at the front. Aaron DeLuca, this mid-pack here, battling away. Lockie Capel, he's got company with Matty Carlione right behind him. You can see here Tim Orty just down on the inside of Liam Caplice. So those headlights start to take effect. And Orty and Caplice here racing side by side down past the old pit complex as we get through the first lap here of this 40-minute second or main feature race for simracing.com HJ Plant Repairs in the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series at Silverstone if you've just joined us. And Joshua Fitt up from 10th position on this opening lap. You can see Tim Orty there just down on the inside. Oh, just getting a little bit loose there. Grabbed a little bit too much of the curb. But Josh Fitt here doing a good job to keep up with the pack on the cold tyres in that Ferrari. Got a little bit loose at the start. But he's doing a really good job here. Expect him to try and hold that position. He's not the certainly not one of the weaker drivers in the field. It's what we see each week with this, where we get that reverse grid top 15 race. All the drivers in that top 15 are really, really close in terms of performance, so it makes for really, really good feature racing. To get 3 wide there, oh, a big bump there. As the we just see there, I think it was Tim Orty not able to get that Ferrari stopped, and that meant that the Joshua Fitt Ferrari unfortunately copping some damage from that, so he won't be happy. Oh, there's another big spin there, the 51 of Maverick Benson. Oh wow, we've got a huge incident here. The 53 of Timothy Orty, he's going to have to limp that one back to pit lane. There's a lot of smoke coming out of that Ferrari. That one might be all she wrote for him. We'll grab a replay on that. Just have a look at what happened there. I think it was a bit of a slide, unfortunately. Tim Orty is just not going to bring up a replay for us there, not picking that one up, but we did see that live. So Orty there struggling with grip in that Ferrari, and that's meant there's a huge amount of damage on the back of that car. His night is going to take a turn for the worst. He'll have to jump into pit lane and consider what he does. Geoff Connell involved in some early action. He's already from 20th back up into 11th position, so he's managed to navigate his way back up to the front. That Merc looking in reasonably good condition actually, so he will be able to recover his race hopefully from here. But it is Richard Brookfield up front. He's opened up a near 1 second gap from Jeffrey Wang. Aaron DeLuca behind him. Matty Carlione with some good driving in the early part of this race. He's currently up into 4th. He's under pressure though from Lachlan Capel and from Liam Caplice right behind him. Daniel Webster up into 7th. We've got Dale Breed in 8th. Ross Rizzo in 9th already. And Luke Turner rounding out our top 10. As the field starts to spread there, you got Jeffrey Wang under pressure from DeLuca right behind him. Is just on his right-hand rear quarter there as they head up into the braking zone. Just deciding to duck down into pit lane. Strategy we see quite often here. The drivers will be able to fill up. Not sure from there that he's going to be able to make it home though on a one-stop strategy. In fact, he won't be able to. Probably needing to get to just about the 30-minute mark to make it home on a full tank. So we'll see what happens. We've got a few in. Hayden Jackson, Patrick Panton and Aaron Oliver in as Just get notification that Paul Mansell's had an off track as well. So there's a few drivers here. Just the cooler. I'm not even sure that the track team actually gets cool up, but with this with the weather setting being fixed, but certainly a little loose on the start here. Josh Fitt there, just unfortunately struggling in that Ferrari. Did just have an incident, and he's got back on track, but I'd say it's overheated those rear tyres. Derek Audian himself coming into damage. Let's have a quick look back at that if we can. So just coming down, looks like through turn 3 into turn 4. And what's he done there? Just over-rotated it and just clipped the back corner of that Ferrari. That's very, very unlucky indeed. Almost avoided it completely, the 59 there of Joshua Fitt. Gets back underway and that thing is crooked as, and he's just not able to quite get it to go, so he's had to abort that one and jump it back to pit lane. So back on board here with our race leader, Richard Brookfield. So currently fastest man on track, 202 flat last time around. Like there's a couple of drivers who have gone quicker, but perhaps their lap's not quite counting as the fastest lap of the race. He's registered as Richard Brookfield. Last time around, that 202.004. See there the 5 in the background. It might even actually be the 35 in the background there, just getting a little wide. Maverick Benson has made his way into pit lane early. It's interesting from these guys. They must be planning a two-stop strategy. Don't think they're going to make it home from here on the fuel numbers that we've seen. But it's one of the fun things of this, not only the reverse top 15, but also just trying to work out who's going to make it home. Try and bring up the fuel numbers actually and work that out for you if I can in the background. So what we've got here is, just looking at it, we've got Mercedes and BMW looking at around about 3.5 litres a lap. So they need to hit a fuel number if they're going to do it. They need 60 litres in those Mercs to finish, starting out with 20 litres in the tank. So around lap 4 is probably that fuel window, so it's going to be really, really close for the Merc and the BMW to do a single stop from where they are. Definitely going to be saving the whole race through, which can be a little challenging to do. There's plenty of opportunity to save here as Richard Brookfield and Jeff Wang jump in. So Brookfield in the BMW. He started out with 20 litres. Going to need 58 litres to complete this race. So with a fuel tank limit of 49, so 69 litres overall in that car. He should be able to make it home from here. It's about a minute shy of where we expected these pit stops to be taken, but a little bit of saving there. He could one stop. Matty Carleone staying out on track now, out into the lead. Just wanting to probably make some time up. Geoff Connell, 2 minute 03, so 2 minute flat 0.03. Last time around, fastest man on track at the moment. And he'll be looking to stay out for as long as he can to get the undercut done in the pit stop. Matty Carleone, I'm sure, will be thinking the same thing. Dale Breed currently up into 3rd, but Geoff Connell up 11 spots into 4th. We'll jump on board with Dale. So he's just under pressure here from Geoff. Just down on left-hand rear quarter. Get into this corner, and Geoff will just have to concede and save himself for another run on the flip back, which is in a good position to do here. He'll cut the corner as he's entitled to do, and he should manage to close the door. Very aggressively closes the door there on Bree, but gets it done. Good racing from these two as they head into the new section of the track. Carlione putting in his best lap last lap as well, so he's taking advantage of the clean air he's got in front of him to try and overlap some of these drivers or undercut some of the drivers out of pit lane. It's Connell now right up on the back of Capel as well. He's flying. And he'll be looking to get into second position by the end of this lap, the rate he is going. I'm just wondering whether or not Capel's decided he's going to jump into pit lane, just surrendering the position a little bit. There's no point fighting if you're going to peel off. But just getting caught a little bit on the outside there. You can see he runs really wide, and Dale Breed will take up the opportunity there. Oh, and in fact, Geoff Connell jumps in as well, so he's managed to pick up 2 positions and jump into pit lane ahead of him there. So that's a great coup for him to move up into second position heading into the pit stops. The great driving there from Geoff Connell. Ross Rizzo, currently the lead car out on track. He's just gone by everyone in pit lane. He has not stopped yet, so he's going to be the last man on track to do the stop. They do suggest that Ross Rizzo is a man who carries some extra fuel around in his boots. So we'll see if that's true, see how much further he can push that BMW. I dare say that he will be in this lap. But as it currently stands, we've got BMWs occupying the top 5 positions. Geoff Connell in 6th. Things just sort of shuffling their way through now. Jeff Wang moves up into 5th through the pit stops. But a number of those drivers back on their way out. Looks like Matty Carleone's had a good pit stop there. That's benefited him. He's moved up 1 position on track from prior to these stops. And he'll find himself in 3rd place once Ross Rizzo jumps into pit lane. I expect that'll probably be on this lap. But we've seen Ross knows a thing or two about fuel saving as well, so one of the stronger drivers there. He's got a little bit of damage on the front of that BMW. Picked up in the early portion of the race, but he'll benefit from this clean air here. It wouldn't surprise me if this is his fastest lap of the race so far. He's done a 2:03.37, and I think that's just the traffic that's held him up a little bit there. Timothy Auty goes fastest, 2 minute 0.72 fastest lap of the race so far. So we get a notification Phil Auty's run off track. And that BMW won't be enjoying that punch in there. In fact, you can see that that was Brady Buchanan off in the distance there as Ross Rizzo does jump into pit lane. He's currently about 25 seconds up the track, so I expect he's going to pop out around about Geoff Connell territory in around about 8th place. It's actually closed right up here at the front, so we'll jump on screen with this. As you can see, Liam Caplice making a pass there on Richard Brookfield. We've got Caplice, Brookfield, Carleone, Wang, Funslow and Daniel Webster all in this queue of cars battling for the front. Brookfield does the switchback here. He's going to take back the lead of this race, but it's very, very close here. It's a head round to the final corner before they make their way into another lap, and it is extremely close. This train of cars just leading the race here. Ross Rizzo still in pit lane, so as I said, he's going to jump out around about same position as Geoff Connell. In fact, he's gone a little bit further down there, taking on more fuel. Wow, they're all over the place here. The Liam Caplice, I should say, sorry, in the 20 car just chucks it down the inside there, sees if he can get it to stick, not quite able to. Matty Carleone pushing his way in and getting involved here as well, so we've got 3 wide with these drivers at the front of the field here. It is Brookfield, Caplice, Carleone battling away. Jeff Wang getting involved here. He's just run down the inside of Carleone, and he's going to get that move done, I think, as they head down into turn 5, and he does indeed. So good move from Jeff Wang to move up into 3rd place now. Carleone just losing out a little bit there. You can see them nose to tail, 1 through position 6. Geoff Connell will be soon on the back of this pack as well, so we've got a fight on our hands here. 26 minutes to go, still plenty of time, and these drivers won't be able to fuel save at all as well, so that's the other thing to take into the equation. They're going to have to, from where they pitted, if they're going to make it home. But at this stage, it is Richard Brookfield still leading this race from where he started. Liam Caplice up 5 positions in that Mercedes, and looking all over the place to find a way, if he can, past that BMW of Brookfield. So we're on board now with Brookfield. Oh, gets a little bit loose here through the slalom. Back on the gas now as we head back down towards the last couple of turns of this circuit. Great camera angle there for us as well. Able to see those cars just flying past. Too wide now as Liam Caplice gets a good run in the Merc. Brookfield just has to hold on here if he can, and he'll get the switchback done as he did last lap around. He's not giving any way, but the Mercedes are just able to hold the title on. In fact, Brookfield running slightly off track, but able. He's going to try and chuck it down the inside again, but not far enough up there. He's got to look out for Jeff Wang on his way through. Wang takes the position there as well. Carleone looking to take advantage of that. You can see that Daniel Webster as well on Adam Funslow trying to make the pass stick too, but not quite able to get it done. So another lap gone and another couple of changes for position in our top 7 drivers. Doing a good job to give one another room here and give us a great contest. Liam Caplice checked out at the front. He has run 1.5 seconds up the road already from Jeff Wang, and Wang will be under pressure soon. In fact, it is Richard Brookfield with the most pressure at the moment. Matty Carleone all over the back of him. Adam Funslow not letting Carleone take any length either, along with Daniel Webster. So all the drivers keeping one another accountable here as we get through this. 24 minutes to go. Good standover driving here from our top 7. Geoff Connell has just been passed by Maverick Benson as well, so he's still a little bit further down the track there. Now dropped down to 8th, still up 7 positions. Christopher Hen up a whopping 13 positions into 9th place. He did pit 1 lap earlier than everybody else. We've got a few on lap 5. Majority of the field pitted on lap 4 though, so see how they manage their fuel out to the end of this one. 1.1 seconds between Caplice and Wang at the front of the field. But it is 2/10 between Wang, Brookfield and Carleone at this stage. As we head again through the slalom. Get this great camera angle again. Caplice, Wang, Brookfield goes past. Carleone, Funslow. Here comes Webster and Benson. We just missed them. It's sort of starting to gap out a little bit and settle down in this pack. All on the same strategy, with the exception of Adam Funslow. He pitted on lap 1, so he will definitely have to stop again. Currently running in 5th position. That explains the 15 spots he has made up. He will have to pit again, no doubt at all. He will not make it home on that fuel load. Number of drivers also pitting on at lap 2. Ross Rizzo down in 13th at the moment, just trying to make some headway for himself. He may well be fuel saving as well, so we'll keep an ear out for that. Keep that in the back of your minds in terms of looking at the overall standings. This part of the race, I don't really know the full story till about 10 minutes to go. There's looks like Funslow there just trying to stick it down the inside of Carleone, and he has done that. He will hold on to that position. Just not quite getting as good a drive out of that corner. He's still going to be in the preferred position to close it out, and does just that. Carleone allowing him a little bit of room. We're trying to get the switch back here, but of course this next corner favouring him. Daniel Webster looking to get the job done as well. Not quite far enough up in the Ferrari, or as Carleone goes a little wide there, that's going to slow him up for this run. And you'll see there that Daniel Webster will take advantage in that Ferrari as they head down past the old pit complex, and he just moves in. Just thank you very much, Matty. I'll take that one. And Matty will do what he can to fight back to reclaim position 5. I'm just going to jump on board with Carleone here just to see if he is fuel saving at all. Let's have a listen. As he comes down towards the slow corners at the end of the lap here, so yeah, definitely fuel saving. You can hear the early gear changes there that he's making, and he'll coast out here. Just very ginger on the throttle, very ginger on the changes too, just not wasting any fuel at all. He'll roll out here from around about 150, there it is there. So he is absolutely gunning for the one-stop strategy. Adam Funslow's jumped in, already into pit lane as well. Maverick Benson also doing the same thing. So he's pitted a little bit earlier than I was expecting. even though he is on a two-stop strategy. So we've got a bit of a mixture starting to emerge here. Drivers on lap 5, I reckon, are close drivers who pitted on lap 6, the first of which is Ross Rizzo, I reckon is safe to make it home on one stop. So he'll make his way up the field as these other drivers take their second stop. I can tell you that race leader Liam Caplice, Jeff Wang, Richard Brookfield and Daniel Webster will not make it home on their current fuel load, so they will be making a second stop, I believe. Of course, there is always the ability for them to prove me wrong, but the numbers suggest that that's not going to be the case. Matty Cartaleone, first of the drivers in question who may make it home, he's currently running in 5th. You can hear him. Fuel saving. They need to save, I believe it is, around about 3.5 litres over this second fuel stint to make it home. And that's a lot of saving, but it's a good track for them to be able to do it at with lots of straights. And particularly while they're in the pack as well, they can sort of just use the toe to conserve a little bit of fuel, jump out of things a little bit early, and just save as much as possible. So see Cartaleone, he has dropped off the back of this pack, and he and Geoff Connell will be saving fuel, but they will be on at the end of this race. There'll be a race on between them, no doubt whatsoever. We've got to look at the lead car of our stoppers, which is Maverick Benson. He's last stopped on lap 9. And he is of equivalent pace to our leaders. He's currently in 17th, so he won't have any issues with fuel. He will make the charge all the way home from here. Just see if he can make up some positions, either with some running out of fuel, which is going to happen, but also there's going to be additional stops made by a number of the drivers in front there. Oh, it's Jeffrey Wang just grabs the right-hand tyre on the ripple strip there, and you can see there that's Daniel Webster jumping off in the background into pit lane. Heavy defending here from from Jeffrey Wang, my apologies, against Richard Brookfield. And Brookfield doing well there just to keep clear of the Ferrari. As Daniel Webster serves his second pit stop, so he'll be fueled to the end. See where he pops out at the moment. Just currently sliding down the order. We envisage he's probably going to pop out somewhere around about 12th or 13th once he's finished. So of course these drivers in this front pack having to push hard as well, racing one another, so there's definitely no chance for them to conserve fuel. Got to make as much hay while the sun shines as they can to get as far up in front as possible. Try and help save themselves through that pit stop, so they don't end up having to battle away with too many. Daniel Webster's actually come out in 19th position after that pit stop. Patrick Panton in pit lane now. Ross Rizzo currently in 8th position. Lead car, we believe, has fuel to the end. If you are watching wherever you're watching from, do drop a like on the channel or a follow if you can. I'd love a share as well, but we do appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in to FGMeCast tonight as we bring you round 9 of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series from Silverstone. We're on board at the moment with Ross Rizzo, who, as we said, we believe is the lead driver to have enough fuel to get home, as Hayden Jackson has had an incident down there in the pack. Manages to turn that one around though and get back on. Looks like not too much damage done to the HJ plant repairs. Ferrari, as Richard Brookfield jumps into pit lane, he'll serve his last stop of the evening. So we get into just under 17 minutes gone. The other thing to take into consideration here is the potential for drivers to incur a drive-through penalty for cutting the track too much. Liam Caplice from our records currently on 9 incident points. So he's got a little bit of a margin to go there, but just something to bear in mind. It could come into play a little bit later on. Geoff Connell may make it on the fuel numbers that he's got, but he's not that far away from Dale Breed and Ross Rizzo. Breed will have to stop again. Rizzo definitely won't. At 8.7 seconds. So while managing the fuel load there to get to the end, he obviously have to be careful not to become susceptible to those behind them. So they've got to play that chicken and egg game of managing the fuel number or driving the car to a fuel number, but not slowing down so much that they don't maintain race pace. So a little easier to do around here with the long stretches. So able to jump out of the gas a little bit early and not lose that momentum too quickly. Track's not undulating as Connell there, just gets a nice slide on it. Going through past the old pits. And 1.5 seconds between Cardleone and Connell at the moment, so we know that Cardleone is fuel saving. Just that gap to him, between him and Jeffrey Wang, has stabilised at around 1.5 seconds. Christopher Henn jumps into pit lane. So he last stopped very early on, in fact, on lap 1. So he will take a full tank of gas and be filled up to the end. Just looking through here, Tim Audie, Derek Audie jumps into pit lane as well, Mike Casey, Hayden Jackson in pit lane 2. Starting to get to that critical period of the race where the drivers are going to need to make those stops for those that pitted very early. William Caprice showing no signs of slowing down at the moment. Certainly not heading into pit lane. He goes through to complete another lap. Sorry, he's actually in the old pit lane section of the track, my apologies, so he may well still pull in on this lap. Lap 13. They are able to run a little longer onto the refuel though, take on a bit of extra fuel. He did stop on 4, so said we think that number might be a little bit too low. He's certainly not conserving fuel like Cardleone was, so still get the feeling he's going to jump through pit lane one more time before the night is over. But not this lap. Just have a little bit of a look further back down the pack here. We've got Lockie Capel in the Castrol livery BMW. Luke Turner behind him, just in the distance there. So they're currently running in 8th and 9th. Aaron Oliver's jumped into pit lane. He is currently was running in 8th position at the time. A little bit of a look further down the field. Jump right back down here to 19th position. Tim Mitchell battling away with Derek Audie. So under a second between those two. As you can see, the simwings.com entry of Audie just behind him. There are a few drivers missing this week due to external commitments. So hopefully we get to see them all back next week. As Rizzo continues to make pace, just at a 2:01.28, fastest lap around last time around. So he is just under 15 seconds from the lead. Race leader still to make a stop. I don't think he's conserving fuel at all. I'll quickly jump on board with him and have a listen. He's 100% conserving fuel, so even he's concerned, having pitted on lap 6, that he might not make it to the end. So So you heard him sort of just put the clutch in there. Not so much there, just backing out of it a bit early. But big clutch in, heading down in the braking zone. So conserving fuel as well is Ross Rizzo. And begs the question about those in front of him, Connell and Cartaleone, who pitted on lap 5. Let's have a listen to Geoff Connell. Connell's got right up onto the back of Cartaleone here, and he's redlining it, so no fuel conservation going on whatsoever. He's going to eat Matty Cartaleone up, I would say. Cartaleone, oh no, there's still a bit of saving going on there. Not quite as aggressive though as Cartaleone is doing, so long save there. But Cartaleone coasting his way around the track, so definitely driving to a number that he will be concerned about. These two gentlemen in front though, Liam Caplice and Jeffrey Wang, will not make it, so they will have to pit in at some stage. This stage just opening the gap up further, able to put some time onto Connell and Cartaleone behind them as they fuel save. And in fact it is this lap. Liam Caplice comes into pit lane. See if Jeff Wang follows along behind him. As in fact, no, he does not. He continues around for another lap. So it is going to be a battle of fuel management here between Connell, Cartaleone, Rizzo, Dale Breed and Luke Turner. Maverick Benson, first of our drivers who has pitted the most recently. He pitted on lap 9, so he's fueled to the end. He'll be able to run that one as hard and as fast as he can over the next 8.5 minutes. And we'll see how he goes. He's going to be relying on those drivers in front, either not able to make it on their fuel number or choosing to pit in instead. So it's going to be a close finish here at Silverstone. HA Plant Repairs, bringing us round 9 of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series, FGMeCast. If you are watching, you don't currently follow us, we'd love it if you give us a follow on whatever platform you're watching us on, YouTube, Twitch, or on Facebook. And certainly thank you for joining us. Hope you are enjoying the show. So just under 8 minutes to go here. Jeff Wang will probably jump into pit lane this time around. Liam Caplice has popped back out in 8th position. So that's actually worked for him there. He's popped out in front of Richard Brookfield. So if there are drivers that are going to need to stop again, then Maverick Benson, Liam Caplice and Richard Brookfield are in a very good position, but that's what they're relying on at this point in time, with Connell, Cartaleone and Ross Rizzo very much saving fuel. Dale Breed must be doing the same thing, Luke Turner as well. So it's who will blink first, as those headlights just start to take more effect as the dusk sets in at Silverstone. And Jeff Wang into pit lane, so it will be Geoff Connell who takes over the lead of this race. You can see they're right behind Jeff Wang, in fact. So Connell heavily fuel saving, looking like we're going to be 4 laps to go, and that could play into it here. So Connell starts, we're averaging around 2-minute 02s, so we're definitely going to have 3 more laps here. The question is, will it be only 3 laps, or will they get started on a 4th? And how much difference will that make in the pit window as Jeffrey Wang's in? Ross Rizzo, oh, I thought he just blinked on screen there. I thought he jumped into pit lane. He hasn't. So I think if I was a betting man, I'd be saying that Ross Rizzo, I think, is the first car that probably will make it home with that extra lap that I think we're going to have to get through here. And that could be the killer. Last week, these guys managing it to within about 100 millilitres of fuel. They cut out just around turn 2, which of course if you're familiar with Catalunya, is downhill anyway, so they got the advantage of that and the altitude there as well. So not quite so lucky here at Silverstone. So will that be a factor as we continue on? Last lap around for Matty Cumley at 2:04.75. So in fact, Ross Rizzo has just passed him for that position. So he's very, very much holding on to this fuel strategy. That's all he's got at the moment. He has to jump into pit lane now. He will slide down the order. Rizzo here will be saving as well. So he shouldn't lose too much touch with this lead grouping, because to finish on the podium he's going to have to finish first. So it's quite how the saying goes, but it works in this situation. You can hear him changing gears very early there, even though we're not on board. So it's just how it's turned out. It's just been a race of fuel management for these guys. It's just a question of who's managed it best. As I stand as well, Geoff Connell, if he does bring home first place here, will retain the lead of the championship overall, leading driver in the pro category as well. So that will not change if things stay the way that they are. Ross Rizzo will make a little bit of a move up, as well as Matty Carleone. Dale Breed, actually leader of the AM Series in Pro-Am, and he will maintain that lead if he can keep that 4th place position that he's currently sitting in as well. Well, there's going to be too many changes down the field. In fact, Richard Brookfield, Christopher Henn battling away a little bit further down the pack with Jeffrey Wang. So this is the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th. Christopher Henn up 12 places, had a cracking second race, this one. And just looking to convert the opportunity. Geoff Connell last time around at 2:04.54, so he is 100% trying to manage the gap. You can see there that he is very rapidly getting some company. Ross Rizzo 3 seconds faster last lap around. Matty Carleone at 2:06.45 last lap around. So 3 seconds faster. Dale Breed behind him. Said I think they may get caught out here by that additional lap that we're going to have to do, because we're going to get around here and there'll be more than 2 minutes to go. So they might have to run a really, really slow last lap. It's going to be borderline actually. But if he's under pressure, he's not going to be able to manage the race too much. I think we'll get through here with around about 2:15 to go. So they're definitely going to have to push another lap out these cars to get across the line. And some of them just may not be able to do it. So fuel situation is Connell pitted 1 lap earlier than Ross Rizzo on lap 5. We're now on lap 19. So it is a long fuel window. Rizzo pitted on lap 6, so if Connell is going to cough, then Rizzo should be fine. That last lap's going to be absolutely hold your breath territory. Maverick Benson just jogging on the spot here in the background. He is in 5th position, closing fast on Dale Breed in 4th. He has no fuel problems whatsoever. So he'll be hoping that someone trips over or coughs and makes his way up onto the podium. That's what it's going to take. He's too far back, as Rizzo is now all over the back of Connell. And he'll know he's got more fuel on board. The question is, will they both make it to the end with the extra lap of fuel that they are going to have to extract out of these cars? Brady Buchanan jumps into pit lane and back round through the new section of the track. Matty Carleone now 9 seconds off this lead pack. Dale Breed closing him down. So there's heavy defending going on here from Connell. He's going to have to do it for another lap, but I'm just not sure he's going to have the fuel to do it. Defending is definitely going to be one more lap here. As the darkness sets in as well. Headlights ablaze. This will be the final lap. Will they make it? We'll jump on board here with Geoff Connell. Just want to listen to hear if there's any coughs out of this Merc. Very, very low on fuel though. You can see it just squiggling away there as well. Ross Rizzo is going to try and make a pass as he here. Connell defending heavily. Rizzo jumps down to try and get around the outside. He's not going to get that done though. Geoff Connell there. Dale Breed had to jump through pit lane, so he wasn't confident he was going to make it home with that extra lap. Matty Carleone basically walking around the track at the moment. Maverick Benson is rapidly going to close in on him. 3 seconds that gap on this last lap as we are leaders halfway through this last lap at Silverstone. So far nobody has blinked. Connell gets really wide there. He's pushing hard. He's going to have to keep pushing hard if he's going to get things done here with Rizzo right on his back. Listening for any signs that the Merc is going to run out of fuel. Sliding all over the place here. He's going to defend again. Down to the inside. Looks like that car is going to be okay. It's just struggling a little bit for grip at the moment. But Rizzo is going to have to try and make something happen here. Connell defends heavily down in the last 2 corners. Oh, Rizzo goes down. He's going to get it done as he's pushed down the inside. And that's pushed Connell wide. Ross Rizzo takes the lead on the second last to 1 corner of this race, and he's going to get it done at Silverstone. Connell gets real wide there. He's spun out as he's headed across the finish line, but does hold on to second place. Matty Carleone here under pressure from behind him with Maverick Benson closing down, but not able to quite get the job done there. Maverick, so Matty Carleone holds on there with the fuel management strategy, and those three get across the line. I think Geoff Connell may be out of juice in that Merc. He is indeed. That Mercedes out of fuel on the last corner. You cannot manage it any better than that. But it is Ross Rizzo who takes the win on the second last corner of this race. What a finish from them. Great driving between the two drivers. Not a single sliver of paint exchanged between the two of them. But I can tell you they were both running on fumes by the end of the race. Number of the drivers doing that, and a great run from them. We had Ross Rizzo, Geoff Connell, Matty Carleone run single stops, Luke Turner running a single stop. They are the top 4 drivers in our top 6 positions that did run the single stop strategy. Maverick Benson, they're closing really strongly at the end. Matty Carleone having to very, very much manage the laps, and in doing so did manage to complete that single stop strategy and come home with another podium. So really, really strong race result from those three. Geoff Connell on the podium again, Matty Carleone the same. So a good result for those guys, with Ross Rizzo taking out the win here in this round 9 at Silverstone. Let's bring up the outcome here of our feature race. So as we said there, Ross Rizzo with a fantastic last lap, last corner pass on Geoff Connell there to take out the win, with Geoff Connell in second. Matty Carleone taking home third with some fantastic fuel management from those guys to get it across the line. Maverick Benson in fourth. We had Liam Caplice finish in fifth. Luke Turner in sixth. Jeff Wang in seventh, with Christopher Henn in eighth. Richard Brookfield 9th, and Adam Funslow in 10th position. Paul Mansell, Daniel Webster 11th and 12th respectively, with Timothy Auty, Aaron DeLuca and Dale Breed out into 15th. Dale running right up the front there, just not quite able to make it home on fuel. Aaron Oliver in 16th with Derek Auty 17th and Lockie Capel in 18th position. So we flip over the list here. Just bring up the remainder there, and we've got Phil Auty, Patrick Panton 19th, 20th, Sam Lehman 21st, Tim Mitchell 22nd, with Hayden Jackson, Mike Casey, Brady Buchanan, and Joshua Fitt rounding out our finishers for the race. And we do have Geoff Connell with us in the booth. I'll just drag in the rest of the podium, who are waiting patiently outside as well. G'day guys, welcome into the broadcast booth, and what a finish to the race there. Extraordinarily long fuel run there, and just catching that extra lap at the end, which I'm sure you were both sweating on, Geoff and Maddie. Maddie, we'll start with you. A good podium for you again, just managing to run the fuel numbers right and get home just at the end with a trickle or so.
Yeah, thanks, Stu. 0.0 I think I finished with, so... oily rag, but kudos to Ross and Geoff. Those guys are just unbelievable. I was managing it from the first stint, and I was just trying to stay clean because there was cars everywhere. It was just a ping pong, and everything was just all over the place. And I thought if I can keep it clean and just grab someone's toe, I'll be okay. I went a lap longer. I did 5 laps on the first stint, whereas I think Ross did went one longer, I think. And I came out and I said, I was watching the number come down. I think I had 7 litres to save, and then it was going down. It was 5 and 4, and then I was stuck on 2 for a while. And then I saw Geoff come up, and I was like, maybe he's 2-stopping it, and he's just going gung-ho. And then Geoff passed me, and then Ross came up behind me. I was like, why am I so slow? So I don't really know what else I could have done there, to be honest. That was probably the absolute maximum I had of, I think I was doing 206s there at one point. It was embarrassing, but it got me home. But kudos to these boys. They did just absolutely rip a job, and to go that close down to the last corners or so, really awesome. But I'll have to work on some fuel strategy for next week, because even the one stop's didn't work for me this time. So but thanks to everyone, all the competitors. That was really awesome racing. Look forward to do it all again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing that, and Maverick Benson, I think, was hopeful that you were going to just have a cough there, because he was closing in nice and fast as the first of the followers to have pitted later. But pit stop on lap 5 there at the same time as Geoff, and Maverick on lap 9. So 4 laps of fuel saved is still a stellar job, mate. So look forward to next week in the Enduro, where you may need to do the same thing. Obviously, just quickly, your sponsors, mate.
Haven't really got anyone, mate. I want to thank the series sponsors, so Bridgestone Select Cranbourne and H-Ray Plant Repairs, Sim Rigs for the Mint rig, which is great, 93 PC for the PC. So pretty much all sponsors in the series have contributed something, and I'm running at least one of their products, which is cool. And FGMeCast for awesome streaming every week, which we really appreciate. And then really, really appreciate all the competitors that come back every week, which is awesome, because they put on a show. Awesome racing. I'm just watched a little bit of the replay from race 1 and 2 into T1, and there's door banging, but somehow everyone's staying straight. So want to thank everyone, and Ross and Geoff too. You guys are ripper.
Absolutely, and a good segue into Geoff. Geoff, we thought the same, mate. We didn't think you were fuel saving at all. We had to ride on board with you for a little bit to work out where you're actually saving the fuel there, because it looked like you were not too concerned about the fuel number, but certainly plenty of saving going on at the end there, and really great racing from yourself and Ross through that last slalom there to unfortunately drop the lead, but to make your way home.
Yeah, I was saving heaps for most of that second stint, and just obviously didn't save enough to have a good battle at the end. I think Ross went 1 lap longer on the first stint, which I wanted to do, but I think I wasted a lot of fuel just playing catch up. I got punted pretty hard on that second corner and turned around. So, that didn't help. But then, it was a good battle. Ross obviously saved better than me, and it was pretty aggressive blocking him that last lap. So it was probably fair enough that he was pretty aggressive on me on the last corner. So, I think it was just good racing. He did well to hang it around the outside to then have the inside on the next corner. So, well done to him. He did a better job tonight. And, it was a good, fun race, but still not a bad night. I had a pole and then a first and a second. So, it was good fun and, it's good battles again.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, then that first race, leading start to finish, including the pit stop as well. So a pretty dominant performance there. And we did notice that you did get involved, unfortunately, in that early incident, which can happen, obviously, with this reverse format of the second race. Good result. Race 1 means that you're right back in the thick of things in race 2, but you're able to get back up into 11th position pretty quickly. We sort of blinked an eye and had a look at what else was going on, and you're already back up in the midfield there. So that certainly would have impacted on your ability to save fuel, as you said.
Yeah, that's right. It didn't help, and I don't use any of the apps or anything, so I was trying to calculate it in my head and probably realised with 4 or 5 laps to go I was a bit further out than what I thought. So, well done to Ross. He did a better job of saving and, deserved the win.
Now, I know still that car is the black Batman mobile, mate, but I'm sure there's some people that you want to give a shout out to.
It is, mate. But, thanks again to you guys for a good stream, and the guys that are running the series are still doing a good job. Like, once again, I think there was 3 brands within 2 or 3 tenths in qualifying, which is pretty good over a 2-minute lap. It shows shows they've still done a good job with the parity, which is near impossible on here. So, well done to them. It's been a fun series.
Yeah, it's a good point you make, actually. It's probably one of the tougher circuits to get parity at. We're talking about it at the start of the stream with the changes in weight. I think the Ferrari now has only got 5 kilos of ballast in it, but that's played well. We had BMW, Merc, BMW, and a fast-closing Ferrari, where the main difference basically was fuel strategy. So everyone was sort of down in those low 201s by the end of the race, unless you're fuel saving. So a really good job done there, and certainly an accurate comment at a tough track to get it right. We're heading to Road America next week. What are you expecting there?
I have no idea. I haven't driven there for a long time. I don't even know if I've driven a GT3 there. So, no idea. I'll jump on next week. See what happens. Hopefully just some fun battles again.
Love it. That's a good strategy. We'll just turn up and run what we brung. Obviously, Geoff, congratulations. You maintain the lead at the top of the championship as a result of your performance tonight. So congratulations.
Right, I think it's actually pretty close. I think Ross might even have me when you work on the drop rounds. But, for what we've done so far, it's been good fun. So cheers.
Far too complicated for me to run through on a Tuesday evening, mate, after a full day of work. So we'll just keep it simple. We'll see how it pans out towards the end of the season. But a good segue. Ross Rizzo, congratulations. A fantastic run there in that second race, battling your way through the field to get past a hard defending Geoff Connell on the second or penultimate corner of the race.
I needed it. I knew it needed to be something special. I had to make up for a couple of strategic blunders over the last couple of weeks with something a little bit different, and thought I had it absolutely nailed with this one. And looking at that timing, yep, that's about as close as it's going to get. So I think the main difference was what Geoff and Cardo had to save over that last 15-lap stint. I only had to save over 6 at the start of the race. But the difficulty of that is having cars everywhere, all in your mirror, sending it, having cold tires and whatnot. So it was pretty scary. I think the punt, Geoff getting collected, set him back just enough to actually make it viable. And luckily I stayed out of most of the nonsense. There was an incident at turn 1 on lap 3, I think it was, which scared me a little bit, but also validated what I was doing because I wasn't making any time in that traffic. So it was either at that point commit to a 2-stop and pit on lap 1 or 2, or commit to a insanely strict fuel saver, and that was always the plan. Was the fuel saver.
Yeah, absolutely. We jumped on board when we were trying to work out what was going on and could see saving there. It looked like there was a little bit of damage on the front of the car. Was that? Did you end up getting touched up in that early incident? It sounds like you didn't.
No, there was a collision. I think lap 2 or something. It involved a couple of Ferraris. I think that might have involved Audi. So yeah, I don't recall what lap it was, but yeah, ran into just misjudged and hit someone as I was spinning, kind of thing. So they were able to continue though, which was the main thing. But yeah, that was the main scare.
Obviously didn't slow the car down too much, so a really strong run from you there. So yeah, if you are on the top of the championship, I apologise for that. The drop round just getting involved there, but obviously a great performance from you tonight. And same question as well. Road America is probably one of my favourite tracks that we get to commentate from, and certainly we get to drive on. What are your expectations there? Have you run the Beamer there yet?
I have not, and I kind of have. I think. Personally, I think GT3 and Road America is a little bit overrated. It's kind of done to death in the official series, certainly when I started iRacing. So it will kind of be cool to get back to kind of what feels like a little bit of grassroots, because it has been a while since I've done that. But I've typically not enjoyed my time doing Road America. But it will be a draft track where I think, again, fuel strategy will be key, and quite frankly, I prefer to see the two-stop more viable. I think there's a lot more flexibility in a two-stop and where you can pit and how much fuel to take in each one. But I kind of feel with that one being very Monza-esque, that you could probably make the one-stop work again, and probably see one-stoppers dominate the podium again.
Yeah, I feel like you're right there with the ability to fuel save around that track. That might be certainly the case, but we'll see what those mathematical geniuses that run the series can do in terms of that to make it a little bit questionable for everyone. Dale Breed tried to join you guys on the strategy there, but just not quite able to make it. He had to pit on the last lap, so there was a number of drivers involved in it, but once again, you three with the additional fuel you keep in those race boots, just able to get your way home. So, but a great drive overall. And as usual, Ross, just give us a rundown of your sponsors.
So big thanks to Trick Esports, Trick Custom Fabrications, and Pro Sim Gear, and a quick shout out to the series sponsors: HJ Plants, Sim Rigs, 9-3, Bridgestone Select, and I still think I'm missing one. If you can help me out. Thanks very much for that, everyone.
Well, what a race. I don't think we've had a finish that close for quite some time, so good to see there, and great battle between Rizzo and Connell at the end there. Matty Cartaglione getting it home on the scent of an oily rag, so a fantastic result there. As I said in the commentary there, next week for the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series, we head to our second enduro of the season, which is at Road America, so looking at a 70-minute race there, and that will be a good one. Double points available for the drivers too, and I can't wait to get there, to be brutally honest. Hopefully I'll be joined by one of or both of the cohort, with the guys just a little down tonight, but we'll look forward to seeing them back and healthy and back at it for that run next week. For us, it is Thursday night. We head back to your screens with the AUSPASS Cup Series, and looking forward to bringing that one to you as well, with AUSPASS. Just looking there at the series. We head to Kansas for the next round of the AUSPASS Series, so that'll be on Thursday night. We've got a 130 lap race there, and looking to see if the man Michael Skurlock can take a clean sweep. He won the Utes on the Utes. Oh dear, I'll be booted off for that. He won the trucks on Monday night even, and did win the Super Speedway round at Talladega. So he is in a very good patch of form. But there's a couple of other drivers there who are looking to take that away from him. So join us on Thursday night. That'll be from 8 o'clock, and hopefully we'll have the boys back in town for that one, and if not, you'll hear my dulcet tones for that race as well. But that is the end for us on the stream tonight. Thanks to all the series sponsors, simrigs.com, Bridgestone Select, Cranbourne, Fountain Gate, and Roeville, 93 PC, and HJ Plant Repairs for their support of the series, and to HJ Insurance Services, our streaming partner. Thank you for your ongoing support and helping us bring the show to the airwaves. And as I said, if you are watching and you have enjoyed the stream, do make sure you follow us, Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch, wherever you're watching us from, to keep up to date with everything that we've got going on. And of course, join us on our other streams. If we don't see you beforehand, we'll see you again next Tuesday. That's FGMeCast, your E-Place for Pace, signing out for your Tuesday evening. Enjoy the rest of your week.